from Tennessee on April 24, 2013. An anonymous user on 4chan posted a cryptic message that would go on to captivate and disturb internet users for years. The post was simple yet chilling, accompanied by an aerial image from Google Maps, pinpointing a location in Elizabethton, Tennessee. The caption read, "Buy this rubble, your prize awaits. Tennessee Park nearby, walk to this point for the secret. It's under plastic at this point. Good luck." The image showed a location that appeared to be a random set of dilapidated buildings, decaying and abandoned, nestled in a quiet part of town. At first, most people dismissed it as another hoax, just another random attention-seeking post. But as time passed, the uploader began responding to comments, fueling the mystery. "Nobody shall claim the prize," the anonymous user commented, adding a cryptic remark, "Time to try other websites." The tone of the thread shifted quickly. Other users speculated wildly about what the prize could be, but the original poster kept pushing the conversation into strange, dark places, with bizarre comments like, "It is warm, no cops here, and someone's coming for the prize." Then came a disturbing twist. The original poster uploaded an image of something horrifying, what appeared to be the claw of some unknown animal, its long, sharp fingernails unsettlingly visible on the grass. The picture was grainy and unclear, but the message was unmistakable. Something was lurking at the location. As the night progressed, the user became more agitated. At 10:23 p.m. they wrote, "I am angry you are not here. My friend moves. My friend is not the prize." A few minutes later, the post read, "Plastic prize. I've had my friend for long now. Not what matters today. I need people to come." The thread grew darker as more images were uploaded. One showed a dimly lit room, a dark, foreboding space, resembling a dungeon, with nothing but shadows filling the corners. Another image displayed a handwritten note that read, "Please come Wednesday, April 24, 2013. The message felt ominous, as if someone was desperate for attention, or worse, for someone to enter that nightmarish place. The last comment posted by the mysterious user before going silent was, "Singing tonight, someone come." After that, the account fell completely silent. The internet was left in suspense. 5 days later, on April 29th, the mystery took another eerie turn. A user named Alex posted a follow-up thread. He claimed to be at the location that the original poster had marked, uploading pictures and updates about what he was witnessing inside the abandoned buildings. The images started innocent enough, showing plastic garbage bags and general surroundings. But soon, things took a much darker turn. Alex posted an image of a mummified pelvic bone, accompanied by a messy, cryptic inscription on a styrofoam plate that read, "Plates, a date, a very important mate. You shouldn't have come. I lied." As the night went on, Alex continued to upload more unsettling images. Prescription pills in dusty bottles, cobwebs hanging thick in the air, and what seemed to be a deliberately placed trail of unsettling objects. But the real horror began when Alex reported hearing a car approaching. His last post read, "Window thing isn't a window. It's some other vent thing, turning around and leaving through the wooden door. Jesus." Then, silence. After that post, Alex was never heard from again. The thread left everyone with an eerie sense of unease. Was Alex truly at the location? Was he in danger? Was this all some elaborate hoax? No one knew for sure. The images Alex uploaded seemed legitimate, showing a real location, but there were many red flags suggesting that the entire story could have been fabricated. The timestamps between Alex's posts were incredibly fast, almost too fast for someone exploring such a dangerous, unfamiliar place. The idea that someone could upload detailed images in such rapid succession raised suspicions. Could Alex have been sitting at his computer, uploading pre-taken images rather than genuinely documenting his journey through the creepy location? As the months passed, speculation swirled. The most accepted theory was that Alex had orchestrated the entire thing, a mysterious user who had created a chilling online mystery to stir up the 4chan community. But some users still clung to the belief that something truly sinister had happened to Alex. 5 years later, a YouTuber named Noah made an attempt to solve the mystery. In a now-deleted video, he visited the location himself, searching through the abandoned buildings. What he found were signs of homelessness, empty cans, clothes, and other belongings, but nothing that could explain the bizarre mystery. No bodies, no signs of violence, nothing that confirmed the terrifying tale Alex had weaved. Still, the mystery lived on. Could the original post have been a real invitation to something sinister? Was Alex just trying to create a viral internet story? The lack of any official record or confirmation made the story all the more disturbing. People kept searching, kept asking questions, and the enigma of the plastic prize was never fully explained. The mystery continues to haunt forums, online discussions, and conspiracy theories, keeping the eerie tale alive. Whether it was an elaborate hoax, a real-life tragedy, or something far darker, no one has ever fully uncovered the truth. Thrift store discoveries. Thrift stores are generally known for offering an eclectic mix of items, everything from vintage clothing and quirky antiques to books and old furniture. They often come with guidelines and rules to ensure that only usable, legal items are donated. While the screening process is generally effective, with so many donations pouring in, it's impossible to keep track of everything that comes through the doors. As a result, buyers often stumble upon unexpected treasures. Some are cool or quirky, while others are far more disturbing and unsettling than anyone could ever imagine. One particularly chilling example of this was found in a photo album at a Goodwill in Washington. The image, which would go on to haunt the internet, was first uploaded to Reddit after it was allegedly discovered by a woman who had a friend buy the album. Strangely, the album appeared to be completely empty, except for this one haunting photograph. The woman, who originally shared the image on Facebook, quickly deleted the post after her inbox was flooded with questions from curious onlookers. But by then, it was too late. The image had already begun to spread. The picture in question shows two men standing in a small creek, both bound by their hands behind their backs. One of the men is face down in the water, while the other is upright, sitting at the edge. A shadow, possibly of a man holding a weapon, looms over them. The unsettling nature of the image raised many questions. Who were these men? Why were they bound? And most chillingly, who took the picture? Initially, most people dismissed the image, assuming it was just a part of a low-budget horror or crime film. Others speculated it might have been related to some kind of military training or fraternity hazing ritual. But there was a darker, more disturbing theory that started to gain traction. Could this be a real crime scene? A place where someone had thrown two men into the river, bound and helpless, while holding them at gunpoint? What made the image even more unnerving was that the truth was never confirmed. No police reports, no official explanations, and no follow-up from the people who could have shed light on what had really happened. The unanswered questions have kept this chilling find alive in online forums, where people continue to speculate about the dark backstory of the photo. But this wasn't the only unsettling discovery found in a thrift store. Over the years, the phenomenon of cursed thrift store finds has grown into a bizarre subgenre on the internet. Many users share disturbing stories and images of things they found in second-hand stores, with some discoveries more shocking than others. Take, for example, the January 2023 TikTok video posted by a user named JC. She uploaded a video with the caption, "When I bought a camera at Goodwill in Arizona and found a SIM card that had photos of my dad who lives in Idaho." In the second part of the video, JC shows her laptop screen where she downloaded the photos. One blurry image clearly features her dad with a smirk on his face. Caught off guard by the unexpected find, JC immediately called her dad, who was just as confused as she was. Thousands of TikTok users were left asking questions. begging for more information on how the camera ended up in Arizona if her dad lived in Idaho. Despite the viral response, JC never gave an update, and the mystery of the camera's journey was never explained. Although it may seem like a one-in-a-million coincidence, JC's discovery isn't as rare as it seems. In the comments section, other users shared their own strange thrift store finds. One user commented, "My grandma found a wedding album at a thrift store, and it had pictures of me and my mom from a wedding we attended." Another person said, "I work at a thrift store, and I once found a torn-up Christmas photo of my aunt's family while sorting through some boxes. They don't even live in the same town." As I delved deeper into this rabbit hole, the stories only got more unsettling. The finds became increasingly creepy, with some cases so bizarre that they could easily be mistaken for scenes from a horror movie. In September 2023, employees at a Goodwill store in Goodyear, Arizona, made a spine-chilling discovery while sorting through a donation box. Among the usual clutter of donated items, they found a real human skull. Naturally, the employees reported it to the police, and an investigation was launched. Fortunately, it was determined that the skull belonged to someone who had died of natural causes. However, the mystery of how it ended up in the donation box remains unsolved. While the skull didn't point to a crime, the fact that it was found among donated items was deeply unsettling. It left many wondering, who donated this? And why would someone part with such an eerie relic? The investigation is ongoing, but the question of how it ended up in a thrift store remains unanswered. These strange and creepy thrift store finds have gained more attention with the rise of online forums and social media. But despite the growing number of bizarre discoveries, the true origins of many of these items remain a mystery. Whether they are genuine dark remnants of forgotten crimes or just quirky coincidences, one thing is certain. These disturbing finds continue to fuel curiosity and fear, leaving us to wonder what other secrets lurk in the corners of thrift stores around the world. UVB-76, since the 1970s, a mysterious shortwave radio station, has been broadcasting incessantly on the frequencies of 46,625 and 48,10 kHz. Known as UVB-76, the station has continued its eerie, monotonous buzz 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at around 25 tones per minute, with no sign of stopping. To this day, it is still active, and depending on your location, you can still tune in and hear its unsettling hum. For over 50 years, UVB-76 has been a curious enigma. Prior to 2010, the station's physical broadcast was located in a bunker near Moscow in the town of Povar. But in 2010, something strange happened. The station went silent for a whole day, only to return with the broadcast coming from a different location in St. Petersburg. Even more intriguingly, after September 2010, the station's call sign changed from UVB-76 to MDZHB, and over the years, the call signs have continued to change, with NVF becoming the most commonly used call sign as of 2019. What do we know about the original station in Povar? Not much, except through the testimony and images from several explorers who visited the abandoned bunker after it was no longer operational. One such blogger, known as WD, uploaded hundreds of eerie images from his trip to the site. In his blog, he described the bunker as a quiet, deserted, dark place, somewhat similar to a labyrinth with a bunch of corridors and rooms. He warned visitors that it was better to go there with a flashlight, as the entire bunker was pitch black. Even today, the original station has been out of order for years, and only the ghostly hum of the buzz remains. The continuous buzz itself is unsettling, and it's part of the reason why UVB-76 has captivated the internet for decades. At certain points in the broadcast, the buzz breaks for a moment, only for a male Russian voice to be heard reciting a series of encoded numbers and letters. What makes this even stranger is the irregularity of these voice interruptions. When the station first launched, the voice only appeared every few months, but since the station moved to St. Petersburg, it has been heard with increasing frequency. Here's an example of what that voice sounds like. Music and voice example. This sudden shift in frequency and pattern of the voice message has fueled intense speculation about UVB-76's true purpose. The most popular theories suggest that the station was used for spy communications, a secret channel for agents operating behind enemy lines. Others propose that it's a Cold War-era countermeasure for nuclear attack, a system designed to send vital messages in the event of a global crisis. However, after digging through various Russian forums and websites, I stumbled upon a far more plausible theory. In many discussions among former military members, it was explained that the constantly changing codes and the difficulty in cracking them made it nearly impossible to know the exact content of the messages, unless you had the key, which only a select few would possess. Interestingly, many ex-military personnel dismissed the theory that UVB-76 was a spy communication channel. Instead, they suggested that the messages are primarily used for Russian military drills and basic military operations. The constant buzz. It wasn't a secret code to spies, it was a placeholder signal to prevent anyone else from broadcasting over the same frequency, ensuring that no other stations could interfere. In fact, there are hundreds of similar stations around the world with unique placeholder signals, preventing interference on certain frequencies. While this might not be as dark and thrilling as the spy theories or nuclear counterattack fears, it's probably the most realistic explanation. Though UVB-76 has given rise to one of the internet's most fascinating and enduring mysteries, the ECR, truth behind it is likely far less sinister than many people assume. It's simply part of a broader military communication network, with its eerie hum, just another forgotten relic of the Cold War era. The disappearance of UVB-76's original bunker may have sparked an obsession that lasted decades, but in the end, it seems that the mystery behind UVB-76 isn't as dramatic or shadowy as it seems. It's a part of a much larger system, with hundreds of other stations across the world performing similar functions. Still, the question remains, why has it captured our imaginations for so long, and what exactly are the Russians still broadcasting in that mysterious code? In all likelihood, the true purpose of UVB-76 will remain locked away, just like the abandoned bunkers that once housed it. If you've spent any time delving into the strange world of internet mysteries, there's a chance you've come across the name Dand, Wisconsin. The town's name might not ring any bells for most, but online forums have spun a web of intrigue around this small, seemingly obscure place. For years, users have speculated about its existence and its sudden, eerie disappearance. The town is often described as having housed hundreds of military families in the past century, with rumors suggesting that it was created solely to serve as the base for a classified military project, Project Sanguine. Project Sanguine was proposed in 1968 by the U.S. Navy, with the ambitious goal of improving communications with submerged submarines using extremely low-frequency radio waves. The original plan for Project Sanguine called for an enormous antenna system, consisting of 6,000 miles of buried cables in a rectangular grid stretching across 2/5 of Wisconsin. However, due to protests from local residents and mounting concerns about the environmental impact, the massive project was never realized. But here's where the mystery begins. It's widely believed that a modified, smaller version of the project was somehow implemented in Dand, Wisconsin during the 1970s. Yet while this sounds like an ordinary piece of history, there's a strange twist. Sometime in the 1990s, Dand, Wisconsin, allegedly vanished. The town no longer appears on any maps, and there are no official reports or records of its existence. What makes this even more perplexing is that countless internet users claim to have relatives who once lived there. For example, a Reddit user named Jamie Ivanov posted a chilling account, sharing details passed down from their father, who had lived in the town for a year or two. According to Jamie, the town's destruction had something to do with the construction of Project Sanguine and some kind of catastrophic incident. Jamie's father described it as a rehashed memory of a time when they were digging up a vast area of land, which eventually led to the town being flooded or completely wiped out. As strange as it may sound, Dan's mysterious disappearance has been a topic of endless discussion on various forums. People have even uploaded pictures of souvenir items such as shirts and mugs, allegedly from the town. One image in particular stands out. It supposedly came from Dand, Wisconsin, and shows a middle-aged waiter sitting next to a young woman, smiling for the camera, with a child sitting across from them at the table. Despite being posted on multiple online platforms, there's no concrete evidence to suggest that this photo was actually taken in the mysterious town. Then, there's the odd digital footprint left behind by Dand. If you search for the term Dand, Wisconsin, you'll notice something strange. Google search auto-complete suggestions will include the town's name, but when you click on it, there's no link or further information. It's as though the town exists in a digital ghost state, leading many to believe that it was never meant to exist in the first place. Reports of vanishing towns are not entirely uncommon in the world of online mystery and horror communities, but Dand, Wisconsin, has one particular feature that sets it apart from other infamous towns of its kind. Unlike many other vanished towns that were revealed to be part of alternate reality games or publicity stunts for movies and video games, no such explanation has been connected to Dand. In fact, everything surrounding the town points to something much more cryptic, a town that may have never existed at all. The earliest mention of Dand I could find was a Tumblr post from 2015, where a user asked if anyone had ever heard of the small rural town. That post quickly turned into a thread discussing various theories, one of which gained traction among online users. Some suggested that a freak accident during the construction of Project Sanguine somehow caused the town to shift into another dimension, or perhaps it slipped into a parallel reality where it was never built. While this theory sounds far-fetched, it has captivated many who are drawn to strange, unexplainable phenomena. Another theory, which seems to have more support, suggests that something went horribly wrong with Project Sanguine itself, and the E5 military had no choice but to turn Dand into an uninhabitable wasteland. To cover up their mistake, they evacuated the military families and erased the entire town from existence. This theory is compelling because it fits with the narrative of secrecy and military cover-ups, but it also raises the question, why would there be so little information about it? Still, there's one more theory that could explain the widespread belief in Dand's existence: the Mandela effect. This psychological phenomenon describes how large groups of people collectively misremember events, historical facts, and pop culture moments. The Mandela effect is named after the misbelief that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 1980s, though he actually passed away much later. With the rise of online communities and forums, it's possible that the name Dand, Wisconsin became associated with a real town in Wisconsin, triggering a collective misremembering. As more people remembered the town, its story became more real in the minds of internet users, leading to the widespread myth of Dand's existence. The bizarre emergence of souvenirs, such as shirts and mugs, bearing the name of the town, could simply be the result of opportunistic creators looking to profit from a trending topic. It's not uncommon for people to use bots to monitor the internet for popular keywords and generate merchandise based on the current fascination of online users. However, the presence of these souvenirs only adds to the confusion, making it harder to distinguish fact from fiction. Ultimately, Dand, Wisconsin, remains one of the most perplexing and mysterious internet phenomena of the last decade. Whether it was once a real town or just a figment of collective imagination, the town's enigmatic disappearance continues to spark debate. While the mystery behind Dand may never be fully solved, it will undoubtedly remain a key part of the strange folklore surrounding vanished towns and the unsettling corners of the internet.